They stalk the ruins of castles, dark forests, and even the mountains of the west. These creatures prey upon unsuspecting individuals, calling to them in familiar voices. By the time their prey realizes what's going on, it is far too late. Hello and welcome to the Equestrian Monster Manual series. This is a series where we dive into the creatures of myth that are found in the My Little Pony series. We'll investigate the mythos and legends from which these creatures came to be, and compare them to the creatures we see in the My Little Pony series. At the end, we'll do a little bit of world building to my story, Long Night. Now then, let's explore. The Windigo is a creature of Native American folklore. Its origins tie into the Aquan oral tradition. This creature is described as a tall but emaciated. It is humanoid in shape with razor-sharp teeth and claws. Its lips are often chewed ragged or are gone completely. Although emaciated, the creature portrays great strength, being able to tear a fully grown man limb from limb with ease. It can travel within blizzards, moving faster than the wind while chasing down its prey. The Windigo is often tied to a symbolic interpretations, that being but not limited to the incarnation of winter, the personification of selfishness, the embodiment of hunger, and cannibalism. Humans that fall into their baser instincts during harsh times were susceptible to becoming a Windigo, but one doesn't need to consume flesh of a human to become a Windigo. Even being in a state of inner turmoil can lead to the risk of becoming one. Spiritual imbalance, or choosing to prioritize the self over the community, or other factors of becoming a Windigo. The Windigo's origins tie into the great northern woodlands of Canada, the Atlantic coast, and the Great Lake regions. The differences between these creatures vary, and the pronunciation as well. These cultures have over 30 different names for the creature. However, the pronunciation we are using originates with the Cree and Ojibwe peoples. Climate and geography were great influencers to the creature's creation. All the cultures that portray the Windigo all share long and harsh winters. This was during a time when starving in the winters was truly a real danger. Tales such as these were used to incite fear into others, as the last thing a tribe needed was a Windigo amongst them. Fun fact before we move on to the Windigos from My Little Pony, in Native American folklore, the only animal associated with the Windigo is the owl. The word Windigo can roughly translate to owl or cannibal, depending on the dialect. The Windigos make their first appearance during the Heartwarming Eve episode, where the main six is tasked with reenacting the feuds between the three pony species long ago. It is safe to assume that the ponies of the present knew about these creatures. However, to a majority of them, they forgot what attracts them. This assumption can be met simply due to the ponies partaking in the activities of selfishness and being unable to work together. These led into tensions building up, and the creatures manifesting with more strength. Like in the Native American folklore, the Windigos do not come to be in mere moments. It takes a series of events to draw them in, while continued mistrust and infighting between the ponies feeds into the Windigos' powers. The Windigos themselves appear as large horses, and howl, mimicking the sounds of a blizzard. They follow more on the lines of evil winter spirits, rather than cannibals that feed off the flesh of the ponies. They appear to feed off the negative energy itself that the ponies put out. This causes the Windigo's power to be amplified, causing the weather to become more volatile. With harsher weather conditions, the ponies will begin to get desperate and slowly turn on each other, often turning hostile towards the other pony races before turning amongst themselves. The reenactment seems to bleed into the main six outwards feelings, and tensions begin to build between Rainbow Dash, Rarity, and Pinkie Pie. Rather than find a solution, they continue to bicker amongst themselves, creating more hostile energy that the Windigos feed upon. To the horror of the others, the three mares are frozen in place. It is only when Twilight Sparkle grasps the situation does she understand the true danger. The more hate the spirit feels, the colder things become. These creatures thrive on disharmony. Ultimately, they can freeze over Camelot, possibly spreading all over Equestria. The only way to stop them is the warmth of friendship, i.e., putting your differences aside and working together. Not blinded by the Regos, Twilight, Applejack, and Fluttershy work together, starting a chain reaction that loosens the grip of the Windigo's power and ultimately banishing them. We can only assume that the main six's connection eclipses the average pony-to-pony relationship, as all it really took was their disagreements and bickering to manifest the creatures. The only clue we have that points to this assumption was the last moments of the episode. When again, the mares begin to disagree. They stop once they hear a gust of wind similar to the Windigo's howl outside of the castle in Camelot. The Windigos are referenced throughout the series and in the comics, but their full impact isn't felt until Season 9 on the episode The Ending of the End, Part 2. The Windigos appear over Equestria again as a result of Chrysalis, Tyrrek, and Kozigo turning the pony races against each other, and giving us some slight validation towards the Fall of Equestria series. I personally think the Windigos wiping out Equestria and the Zebralands is a bit more interesting, as they lead to an endless winter where dying of exposure and starving to death would be vastly more common, while characters have to constantly battle their baser instincts to not cannibalize each other, and add to the number of ponies hunting other ponies in the vast frozen tundra. Just a thought I've played with before. Now we get on to the world-building aspect. The term Windigo is an umbrella term that individuals use in Long Night. Their origins are unknown, but their existence has been recorded, leading to the events of the Long Night. Like the Windigos of the show, these creatures are normally drawn towards the negative energy that ponies and other creatures exhibit. However, like that of Native American folklore, spiritual imbalance can also lead these creatures to your doorstep. As of right now, there are 3 creatures that have been referenced in the story so far, that being Howlers, Dreamstalkers, and the Dread. The Dread is a creature described as a giant eye, normally covered in a thin layer of translucent skin, bulging veins, and peppered with sores. The eye is often bloodshot, and the pupil has been described as a freshly polished ruby. This creature never seems to lose focus on its prey, as those being followed describe being constantly watched. To those that have been around the creature long enough to make a record, they have shared an experience of uneasiness that later translates into paranoia. Victims will soon complain about hearing voices of lost friends and family, although others around them won't be able to hear the same voices. Victims finally start lashing out in fear, accusing those around them of wanting to take them away. Without warning, the victim's attitude would often change into a more relaxing demeanor. They often seem to go missing the night after their attitude changes. To those that were around them during their sleep, they are always awakened by the victim whispering, "Nevermore." It has been repeated in all known records. It has been said hundreds of times and in dozens of different languages, their last whisper being the only sign of their existence. Howlers come in different shapes and sizes, some only standing 3 feet tall, while others tower over fully grown stallions. They are normally found deep in the forests, caves, abandoned castles, and villages. They often have multiple roots that jut out of their shoulders and dorsal area. A thick ribcage protects their only known weak spot, that being their black heart. Howlers mimic distressed ponies, griffins, zebras, and other intelligent creatures, often luring unsuspecting prey closer to them in order to ambush the creature. Experienced howlers can mimic complex speech patterns and form sentences, while inexperienced howlers can only repeat simple words or phrases. Once in range, the howler will wrap its prey in its roots and cocoon the creature. Soon after, a single fang will violently come out of the howler's orifice and enter the prey. Alone, these creatures pose a challenge to kill, but howlers have been known to travel in packs, so if you see a single creature, be wary of others lurking in the shadows. Lastly, We have Dreamstalkers. Dreamstalkers are one of the most dangerous types of creatures we've encountered so far. Like a moth to light, they are attracted to the downtrodden and those who have lost all hope. Their mere presence incites fear and at times madness. Dreamstalkers will often appear in a prey's dreams, chasing them through forests, caves, and never-ending halls. While in this state, you will not be able to harm them. The same cannot be said if they ever catch you. They often lead their prey into fatigue, both spiritually and mentally, before manifesting into reality and going in for the kill. This is their only weakness, as they can be harmed by conventional means once in reality. Swords, clubs, arrows, and fire can kill the beast. That is if the victim is able to stand and fight. Their appearance varies from individual to individual. For the rare few that have survived to tell the tale, they saw them as twisted parodies of their abusive mother or father, while others saw them as a friend they left behind in order to save their own coat. One thing is for certain, only the victim can kill their own Dreamstalker. Others can in fact harm it, but it is only the one being preyed upon that can kill it. The Dreamstalker will not stop unless you or it has been killed. Thank you all for tuning in to the first episode of the Equestrian Monster Manual. I hope that this was all to your liking. If you guys have any other comments, questions, or concerns, please don't hesitate to ask in the thread as well as even in the comment section of the video down below. As always, I will provide links in the description to whatever music I used, artists, their works that I put in the video, and any other information that I used in order to create the video itself. Once again, thank you for giving me your time, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of the con. I'll see you all in the next one.